Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me.
Good morning. You are listening to KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid 90.7 FM, streaming live at ksqd.org. I am Catherine Bell, and this is The Dream Journal, a weekly show where we explore the healing powers of your nighttime dreams through conversations with dream experts and with you. Okay, today's music is called Elevationary, created new by Rick Kleffel again this morning. In the words of Carl Jung, who looks inside dreams, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. Dream work, why not dream play? It's time to get mischievous with the prankster-in-chief herself, psychologist Katie Mason. This is Catherine Bell of Experiential Dreamwork, and welcome to the Dream Journal. The Dream Journal is also a podcast, that so you can look for that in all of your regular podcast places. It'll be released every Monday morning at noon. You can also go to the KSQD website to find all of our shows. We're coming up on 3 years worth of shows now, and that's ksqd.org/the-dream-journal. I want to thank you guys for reviewing the show. Feel free to add your own review. We had a review earlier this month from Dr. KRM. Excellent podcast on all things dreaming. Add this to your regular listening and take a deep dive into the world of dreams. Thank you, Dr. KRM. I really appreciate you being a listener and for posting your review. Okay. So, my personal dream work. Well, I would start by talking a little bit about the show next week. That next week I will not have a guest. Instead, we're going to do an all-caller show, but it won't be like any other all-caller show because I will be reading from some material that I've been putting together for a book I'm working on. Now, it'll be quite some time before the book comes out, but I'm really pleased with some of the writing, and I think you will be too. So I'll be doing some reading, and the phones will be open. And, you know, one of the reasons I mentioned this is I actually had a dream about writing my book not that long ago, which is pretty close to a new thing for me. There is a person, this character named Logan, who is a kind of bit of a bully on the TV show Veronica Mars, which I've been watching lately. And he has his own book that he's finished, and I've stolen his book and I'm hiding it, and I decide I will keep it until my own book is done. So, what is this? I don't know. I think this is interesting that, there is a little bit of a panic. Will it ever get done? It takes a lot of time, a lot of writing, a lot of attention, and it will get done. I know that, and yet there is this panic about it, and maybe there's something about stealing it from Logan, and Logan is a bit of a bully, and so I've had to really look at that. Are there ways that I am a bit of a bully? And it's hard for me to think about that, but I can be very controlling. I like things how I like them. I got labels in the fridge for where I think the food should go, and so I have a lot of strong preferences and opinions, and so can I be kind about it? And just kind of taking that on. At least I don't take joy in other people's suffering, which is, I think, what really defines a bully. So I think I'm okay. So I'm just kind of taking my, I just had a thought. Am I bullying myself? Oh my goodness. Okay, that resonates. Am I bullying myself about this book? Because I do. I've been writing before dawn every day for, couple of months now, 5:30 to 7:30. And, do I kind of bully myself a little bit about that? Well, I feel some tenderness about that. Okay. Well, but there we are. That's my personal dream work. So we will be taking call-ins during the last 20 minutes of the show. Or you can email us at any time at onair@ksqd.org. That's ONAIR at ksqd.org. And Rick Kleffel, thank you so much for being here. He's engineering the show, and he'll take a look at the emails. And if you have a question or comment, you can send an email. And in the last 20 minutes, we'll be opening the phones. But for now, we're going to say hello, Katie Mason. Hello, Katie.
Hi, so happy to be here.
Yes. So good to have you on the air.
Yeah, and I just want to share with the listeners that I am wearing a sequence jacket that goes to the floor and orange glasses and a cockroach pendant.
A cockroach pendant.
So can you hear this? Can you hear that? No?
Oh, yeah.
That's the sequence of my jacket. So.
I love it. I got a little scared there for a second when you said, you don't want to know what I'm wearing.
Yeah. I just want to give a visual to all the audience members.
Well, feel free to rattle your sequins whenever you get a chance. There we go. Yes, excellent, Katie. Okay. Katie Mason is from Colorado. She is a psychotherapist and facilitates growth and healing using Dreamwork in her private practice. Katie is also a dream performer, combining spoken word poetry, humor, and dream images to creatively express her dream truths. Her webpage is katiemason.com. So Katie, getting into character already.
Yeah, it's just Saturday morning, so I thought I would spice it up. I actually put on a lot of perfume too.
Oh, we can definitely smell that. We can smell.
Why not? But it helps. It does help to bring out some playful energy and a certain kind of mood when you play with your wardrobe. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I think it's great. Katie was our keynote speaker at the Festival of Dreams in, what year was that? Was it 2019, I guess?
Pre-pandemic, before the pandemic.
Pre-pandemic, yes.
Yeah.
And talk about costume. She got on stage with a giant red apple, right?
Dino apple.
Dino apple. Tell me about the dino apple. What is that all about?
Yeah, so the dino apple is an image that came from a lucid dream I had many, many years ago, where I actually asked, in the dream, I became lucid and asked the sort of dream awareness for an image for my logo. And that popped out of my wrist, like my forearm, that image.
It popped out of your forearm? You mean like a dino apple?
A futuristic dino apple popped out of my left forearm. Yep. And in the dream, I remember saying, that's got to be a joke. That can't be serious. And then I spent the last however many years, it must be 5 or 6 years now, working with that image. And everything from working with an artist to kind of bring it actually to life in terms of the logo, but also working with the energy of it, dressing up in character as it, and it's become this fabulous teacher. And I shelved it actually for quite a while because I was like, I can't, this doesn't make sense. I can't sort of work with this. I'm a therapist. People aren't going to understand this. And that's exactly kind of the medicine in it, is it's to be played with and experienced. It's not just to be analyzed and understood. So it's really become this fun image. And I love bringing it out on stage. And that specific festival was so fun because I got to lead a parade.
Yes, you did.
Dressed as the dino apple, which I didn't realize is maybe one of my life's callings.
Oh, all through downtown Santa Cruz. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It was seriously one of the most fun experiences of my life, is to like lead a group of people dressed as dream characters outside in the world, and just to have the reaction of other folks. And it was so fun.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is giving me ideas, Katie. So in July, I was going to talk about this later, but let's talk about it now. In July, the IASD is having a conference, a live in-person conference in Tucson. God willing, and the COVID don't rise. You know, we're got our fingers crossed. We're planning on in-person Tucson, July, I believe the 17th through the 21st. And Katie will be there. We are still finalizing the schedules, but it seems extremely promising. Katie's going to be doing a performance there right before the Dream Ball, actually about an hour before the Dream Ball.
Oh, that sounds amazing. You just got me so excited for that timing.
So talk about the Dream Ball. What that is, you know, you get to dance in your dream character, dancing in costume. And before, they have the costume parade, where you get to spend 1 minute telling everybody in the room what your dream is and how you're embodying it with your costume. And I'm part of the Dream Ball team, actually. And I have some ideas, Katie, in case you want to be part of that team. Let me ask around and see how that fits, but you may yet get to lead another parade.
Oh my God. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't. And for those who are listening that don't enjoy a parade, we have to have a conversation. There's something going on there, because I think they are so fun. They enliven me. There's so much fresh energy, and it's actually one of the things, this kind of segue into some of the prankster kind of trickster energy piece that came out with the Dino Apple. Because when I was taking people on that parade, or I guess it wasn't an actual parade, but
it was.
It was.
Oh,
it was. So I was leading folks to downtown, like through downtown Santa Cruz, and there was we come around the corner, and there was this man on, like, you know, a soapbox type thing, and he was preaching hateful things, right? Like I think it was about gay people, or, you know, just something. He was preaching hate, and we come around the corner, and he had, you know, accrued an audience who was, you know, booing him and kind of, you know, antagonizing him back. So it was sort of this tense scene. And when I come around the corner, in my Dino Apple outfit, he looks at me, because we have to walk right through him and his little audience. And there was no other way to go. And I wasn't going to turn us around. It was like, we have to walk through this energy. And in doing so, I just remember the look on his face was just completely like dumbfounded. Like, what is this? And he just stepped down off his little soapbox piece, picked up all his stuff, and walked away. And it was like the crowd just dispersed, and it was actually very profound, because I was like, oh my gosh, we just cleared out some like really heavy, kind of dense negative energy.
Yeah.
Just with our foolishness and our willingness to kind of be silly and playful. And I think that is the inherent power of like a prankster or trickster energy. It's not just to disrupt for the sake of disruption. It's actually to like clear out things that need to be cleared out. So that was super fun.
Well, you know, I love that. I think playfulness is something we could use a lot more of in our lives these days. Things are super, super serious, and why do we want to live life like that with everything so super serious? No, there's a lot of serious things that need to be taken care of, but let's like not get all tangled up in that downward spiral.
Yeah, and it's a practice. That's really key, is like, for what, it's not neither good nor bad. It is what it is. Adults don't often really know how to play. It's just the truth. And so we have to cultivate it and like learn how to experience that within ourselves again. And that's part of, even this morning, I woke up and I was just a little bit tired. I was. I didn't spring out of bed like, yes, I'm ready to play. No. So I had to work on my energy. I went for a nice walk, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to get into this jacket that I have, because it's super fun. And So it's like I'm working with that and practicing it. And
all right, let's hear your sequence.
oh yeah. This jacket is amazing. I bought it for a party that I only went to for 10 minutes.
Well, you just changed your mind, or what happened?
I was just like, yep. I changed my mind, and I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling this. I thought it was going to be something different, and but it was this costume party, and I think the whole reason I was supposed to go was just to get this jacket.
I guess so.
I really, and so I might wear it to the Dream Ball. We'll see. It's definitely going to make multiple appearances because it's just fantastic. It really is.
Oh, well, sometimes it's all about the clothes, right?
Exactly.
Okay, I got to come back. I mean, we still have a few minutes, and I want to, before the first break, and I want to say, tell me more about the dino apple. I mean, I'm just like fascinated by that. Like, what, it came out of your forearm.
Yep. Came out of the forearm, and I have, so it's red, blue, and green. So it's like these really kind of almost primary colors. Yeah. And it has this really specific look on it of, I'd say, mischievous look. It has an energy. To me, it reminds me a little bit of the energy I had as a kid, just kind of a punky, kind of fun energy. But I can share a poem in a little bit that I wrote speaking as the dino apple, because it's actually a very complex image as well. I think it's taking these two oppositional things, a dinosaur and an apple, and combining them. And I think that's a lot of what I do in my work with clients, is like kind of bring an oppositional energy and sort of bridge different dualities. But it's just playful and fun, and it's a disruptor. Like when I asked the dino apple, what do you want from me? The answers that I get are so uncomfortable.
Oh, perfect.
This character, this image rather, wants to push boundaries, to be really sort of enticing, like not a provocateur in the sense of I'm just going to be annoying and disruptive for the sake of being disruptive. But like I was saying earlier, like, let's just shift things up. Let's go against our normal conditioning, our normal patterning. Let's do things that our mind says, that is a terrible idea, or that's crazy. You know, like we spend so much time being really kind of rigid by the time, especially we're adults. So it's more getting into the energy of a kid as a child, but as an adult.
Great.
Yeah.
Katie, thank you. Well, when we come back, we will definitely listen to that poem. I'm very curious about more of the dino apple. And, right now I'll let you know that you're listening to the Dream Journal. This is K-Squid 90.7 FM. I am your host, Catherine Bell, and our guest today is psychologist Katie Mason.
Here I come, I'm wild and free. I'm gonna shake it loose. I'm gonna shout and scream. No more silence, no more gray. I'm moving forward, moving up to embrace on this day. I'm open wide to every cloud. Take the blows, but I know they ain't gonna knock me down. I'm a force to be reckoned with, and there ain't gonna be no little me again.
It's eclectic. It's funky. It's 90.7 K-Squid Radio. K-Squid, many voices, one station.
All right. No more little me. Love that song. I don't know that at all. Thank you for introducing me to that. We do have a feature where our guests choose the music. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yes. So what are you feeling now? This is Katie Mason. You're listening to the Dream Journal. My name is Catherine Bell, and this is The Squid, K-Squid 90.7 FM, streaming live at ksqd.org. You can send an email at any time. Rick is looking at the emails. You can send it to onair@ksqd.org, and in about 20 minutes, we'll be opening up the phones. Actually, in only about 15 more minutes. Got Tony Russimano standing by. So, but Katie, where are we at? What do you want to do? What's live for you right now?
Yeah, I'm feeling like maybe I can share this Dino Apple poem.
Okay,
You
great.
got me excited. I haven't shared it in a minute. And one of the ways that I love to work with dreams is through poetry and kind of expressing the essence of an image, but also in like a performance kind of way, because I think when we really get embodied in the image, it just brings us alive. So I wrote this poem when I had no idea if I could really work with this image. I was sort of like, again, stuck. Like, can this image actually be anything other than silly and absurd? And then the first time I shared it was at Dream Conference, I think in Scottsdale, several years ago. And yeah, so you'll get a little idea about the depth of the image through this poem. So
Great.
Here we go. I'm a futuristic dinosaur, big red delicious apple, hot lighted with my dino spikes, and here for you to sample. Taste this forbidden fruit, I dare. I hope it's an example of my absurdity and complexity. Half the time, I don't even know what to make of me. Back from the dead fluorescent to bring myself a message. No more hiding in plain sight, Katie. I see through your distractions. Downloaded from a lucid dream to bring myself to action. Here to step my game up and see what the heck might happen. Forgot how sweet I was, too busy, wrapped up in my mind. Ignored my dino apple self, too scared to own what I might find. Because there doesn't seem to be a place for such opposite transactions. Stegosaurus future glow, riding on the back of juicy fruit. How the hell does that even happen? Some think I'm an animated contradiction because I don't belong in any one jurisdiction. And I didn't know so long I'd gone extinct, lost my flavor and group think, so many years of conditioning, so I contained what I speak. But I've made the choice to cut out all the BS in my mind, came back to fill my heart out and see what I might find. So here I am tonight, electric dinomatic freshness, juicy, ripe and red, and yes, I taste the very best.
Oh yeah, here come the sequins. There they are. Oh yeah, okay. This really is a lot about claiming yourself. Just like that song, No More Little Me.
Yeah, I think it's like, being kind of expanding beyond what how we see ourselves and being willing to take risks to just be a little bit bigger, brighter, bolder, in the way that, a kid does, where they're just kind of running around expressing themselves with sort of unfiltered.
Well, you talked about expression, and I wonder if you'd like to talk a little bit about creativity, like the kind of playing around, the playfulness involved in creativity in dreams.
Yeah, well, I got to a point, I don't know how many years ago, where I just was sort of feeling the bog down of the analysis component of working with dreams. There's so much like, I want to know what the dream means, and I want to know what the dream means, and that can get kind of dry. And so I just started to look at them as dream images. It's just like these access points to greater expression. So I'm more interested, like, what does the image want? What does it need? How can we engage with it and play with it rather than just understand it? And so I've been doing everything. And a lot of this changed during COVID, when everything was so heavy for so long, and my work in my practice with clients it was intense. And I really needed to constantly lighten up. So I started dancing with them around their dream images, or singing songs, or acting out playfully with them, where it became like, okay, let's have a game in a way where we're taking the image and we're not trying to understand it at all. We're just trying to bring it alive and to play with it. And what ends up happening is I just started seeing people having a lot of shifts, because once we take an image and we lighten some of the content and energy around it and the emotion around it, we can actually hear it a little bit clearer. And so I remember at one point, I was like pretending to be a horse with a client in an image, or in a session. This is over Zoom, mind you. We're just like riding around like we're horses. And she looks at me, she's like, what are we doing? I'm like, I'm not exactly sure, but can you tell the energy's totally shift? She's like,
Sounds like
something's happening. We're not sure what.
You're horsing around.
Exactly. Yep. And we need that, especially because Dreamwork can be really heavy. There can be a lot of heavy images, obviously heavy emotions. And so figuring out how to lighten it, and I think creative expression does that if we have the right approach.
So how do you recommend, so you do dreams? Do you also do a certain amount of art? I understand, like, well, just to start with poems, I guess. I've come on a poem kick. I've had 2 poets the last 2 sessions, and I guess I'm on a roll. So what do you recommend? Like, how would you start to approach a poem?
I think one of the easiest ways is to pick an image that I tend to say, start with an image that isn't a person and dream, just because I think it allows us to go a little bit deeper, a little bit faster. We can get, when it's a person, we can, especially if you know that person, it can be a little more complex. Yeah. So I like to start with that's why a dino apple is a great image, because I don't have the sense of like, oh, that's my brother, or like, it's not complicated by some family dynamic or some, history of mine. So it's an easier place. And then I do like to, personify the image. So if the image could speak, what would it say? And let it have some words, and then just, what does that feel like to say as an I statement? And you can do several I statements, and that then becomes a poem. Like once I worked with an image of a velvet-covered Pringle that I had in a dream. So
like a Pringle, like the potato chip?
Exactly. Yep. And it was covered in purple velvet. Oh. And I was like, what can I do with this? And so I one of the first things I said was, what if this image is a part of me? Ooh, very common Dreamwork kind of technique. But with something that kind of absurd, it's really powerful to be like, what if I'm a velvet covered Pringle? Like, what does that even mean? And then so I just describe myself like, I'm smooth and crunchy. You like me stacked up nice. Like, I don't actually know what that means, but it doesn't really matter, because all of a sudden I'm feeling some energy with this image, and something's moving through me. And then like the end of that poem actually, so the poem itself is, I'm a velvet covered Pringle. I'm smooth and crunchy. You like me stacked up nice. Just pop my top, make your mind drop. No, you can't stop. Whoa. And then I go to heed some advice. You will never understand me. Not even your metacognition can command me, because I am not meant to be consumed. So that line right there just came from free writing about like, what is a velvet covered Pringle? I'm like, you can't eat it. You can't wear it. Mm-hmm. So it's not meant to be consumed. It ended up helping me see that there's parts of me that I'm not meant to totally consume. I'm not meant to totally understand. Oh. So it just started with an I statement. I am a velvet covered Pringle, describing myself as such, and then working in a little rhythm. And then you have this fun poem, and suddenly velvet covered Pringle is actually this great teacher now.
Okay. Right. So like, it doesn't need to make sense. Like that's helpful for me. That it doesn't need to make sense. It's just maybe, just.
Well, at the beginning, especially, it's about letting it move through you, and then through the editing process, you can go back and you'll start to be able to pull out the lines that have a lot of charge and energy, and you'll be able to intuit like, oh, there's something in that line that's really powerful for me. I don't know why yet, but I know there's something there. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of like we're sort of getting deeper and deeper into the unconscious, and we can feel it through that. And then you do end up putting the poem together in a way that does make sense. Mm-hmm. I am also like, I'm a big proponent of dancing in the nonsensical, but also bringing it into sort of this 3-dimensional world that we can understand to some degree, even if it's saying, I now know that I don't know.
That's useful.
That's a powerful statement.
Yep, that's useful. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right, letting go of that certainty and just seeing what happens, seeing who I am and what I am. I thought I knew who I was, but maybe I don't need to really have such a tight uniform on. I don't have to be just that person. Yeah.
And then it gets beyond the kind of the sort of dichotomy of it. Yeah, I either know who I am or I don't. It's like, no, I know who I am and I don't know who I am. Like the both and. And I think that's in the essence the dino apple too. It's not a dino or an apple. It's a dino apple. It's both and. And we do need to continue to like be able to expand our capacity to be in the known and the unknown. Right. It gives us internal flexibility, which is really valuable, especially now in the world we live in. Things are changing so much that if you're overly rigid in one way, you're going to be even more and more challenged, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's really helpful. You know, I don't know. I find my mind's just going back around and around to a topic that you and I spoke about on Doris's show. When I was actually in Colorado, but I was doing Clean Feed. I did the show, and Katie called in, and it was funny that she was so close by, and yet I didn't even know it. Which is the topic of daydreams. I wonder if you feel like it, like bringing up some of the ideas you have, because there's something really playful about daydreams. Like you get to choose what to dream about, you know, and at night you just, whatever happens. But, you know, when a daydream, you get a little choice, and you're talking about learning to be, you know, the child, learning to open up to your child self. And I wonder if daydreams are something that can help with that.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think that certainly, I mean, if we engage more consciously with our imagination, period, and I think that's what daydreams are. It's just our imagination, you know, moving in a certain direction. And if we engage with that consciously, it gives us more. I think we start to feel more empowered rather than feeling like the daydreams completely take over. We do, because we're awake, we do have a little bit more autonomy to interact with it. In a way, almost like you would a lucid dream. So I think I mean, I know that I have been more and more consciously aware of every area that my mind goes to. Because I know that has an impact on my emotional state.
So say more about that. What do you mean, where my mind goes to? Like,
when I'm not paying attention, what is my mind thinking about? And then when I come back, I'll be like, oh, where was I? You know, like sort of trying to have a pulse on where my mind goes when I just kind of let it wander, instead of like dismissing that as, oh, my mind was just, you know, lost for a second. I'll be like, no, where actually was it? Because if it was in a rumination, you know, if I was ruminating on a conversation I had with a friend that didn't go very well, that is going to impact me emotionally. And so I've just been noticing that more and more, so that I can, it's like I don't want my mind, I'm not trying to control everywhere my mind goes, because I do think there's something really important about just being able to meander and wander, like on a walk or something. But I'm also continuously more and more aware of the thought patterns, of the patterns of daydreams or the patterns of wanderings. And if there's some that are like in a really heavy emotion, I want to figure out what I need to do to soften that. Because I'm not trying to reinforce some negative emotional pattern.
Right.
And I think our minds default to certain patterning that's rooted way, way back. And so some of us can, I know I have had to be careful that I could just ruminate on certain emotion. It's like certain things, it's like an emotional pattern that's like, let's say anger or something, that's like I could get caught in, and I don't even realize I'm doing it because it's just the default mode of my mind. And in that case, bringing some play is super helpful. Like, oh, here I am just thinking about all the anger, like, like, woo, look at me again, you know, right. Approaching instead of like, Katie, come on, what are you thinking about that for? Like,
right, or getting mad at yourself for being mad. Right,
yep, exactly. So that's where we also get to be like, oh, there's the mind, and here I am interacting with the mind. It's like taking the observer role.
Okay. Right,
Does
right.
that make sense? Are you
Yeah,
following me?
yeah,
Okay.
that's helpful. Yeah, it's like bringing the playfulness to the ruminations. Like, well, there we go, around again.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, like
Because
so.
what it's like retraining the brain also. Because I do think we get caught in some of these loops that are just like neural pathways in our mind.
Yeah.
And then there's that, and then there's like the daydreams. And I spoke of this on the show when Doris was on about like almost co-creating them. Like I love the image of me walking into a club like feeling really strong and like confident. I don't know. There's something about like
Right. Okay.
even though that party I went to that I was telling you about that I left after 10 minutes,
Yeah.
it was at a club, and I was like, I think that's it. I'm not really that into clubs.
But you had your entrance, right?
But I did have the entrance in this jacket. So that's
In the jacket, yes.
yeah. But that feeling of like being in a certain kind of confidence, I love that feeling. And that's something that I'm trying to continue to cultivate all the time. So that daydream is something really positive and uplifting I want to keep sort of reinforcing.
Okay, wonderful. Wow, so this is Katie Mason, and you're listening to The Dream Journal. My name is Catherine Bell, and this is The Squid. K-Squid 90.7 FM, streaming live at ksqd.org, and in the Santa Cruz area at 90.7 FM, Community Radio of Santa Cruz. And right now, the phones are open. Yippee! It's phone time. So you can call in. Yoo-hoo! There's the sequence. All right, I love it.
I love that you can hear that.
I could totally hear that. So the phones are open, indeed. And so give a call and introduce yourself to the prankster in chief. The number is 831-900-5773. Oh, somebody already has the number because they are calling. So I'll give that number again for those of you who don't. We do have two lines. The number is 831-900-5773.
Wait, if I'm on fire, how am I so deep in love when I dream of dying? I never feel so loved. I've been having dreams, splashing in the summer stream, tripping, I fall in. I wanted it to happen.
It's Sunday night, 9:03 p.m. You're driving south on Highway 1. The music you're hearing is Cephalatron, an hour of electronic listening music on KSQD Santa Cruz.
Okay, this is the Dream Journal, and yes, Rick Kleffel, our talented engineer and music creator, also hosts the show Cephalatron at 9 o'clock, although we'll watch about that Highway 1 because we have fires right now down there in Monterey. But so this is the Dream Journal. My name is Catherine Bell. Our guest today is Katie Mason, and the phones are open. I'll give the number just again, that we have a call. The number is 831-900-5773. And welcome to Sebastien from Ohio. Hello.
Hey, Catherine. Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. Glad to have you on the air. You're on there with Katie Mason on the Dream Journal. What can I do for you?
2 nights ago, I was just hoping to share it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
What? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can share the dream, and then we'll offer you some reflections and hold space for you.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I don't normally call into stuff like this, so I'm a little nervous here.
Well, just take a second then. There's no hurry. Take a breath. Listen to the music for a second, and I'm glad you took the chance.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm at this theme park. It's a huge theme park, and it's got these crazy bright lights. And I'm there. I'm walking around, and there's maybe a foyer area. Okay, so I'm at where there's food and different people, and I see my friend who I've known in high school, Zania. And Zania's like, go ahead behind the loop-de-loop. You know those like sort of loop-de-loop type of rides?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then there's another another friend of mine there, Keeve. We call her Keeve. And Keeve is like, start digging, and I'm like, okay. It just seems so natural to me, so I'm digging, and all of a sudden I find this body that I realize is my professor. It was a professor of ours, Mr. Goggles. We call him Mr. Goggles because, well, you know, he was always going on and on about safety goggles. So Mr. Goggles is there, and he's like lifeless corpse. And so I'm touching him. I'm trying to like shake him back to life. And I notice that when I'm touching him, it sort of brings some energy. And then I realized that. Well, I guess then it sort of gets sexual.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm filleting, then he comes to life. But it's not sexual. I don't feel sexual, but it sort of is sexual. And Mr. Goggles, you know, he pops up, he looks me straight in the eyes and goes, well, now that's some good gazpacho.
Oh, God. Okay.
That's my dream.
That's the dream.
Oh.
So take a second, and I'm going to call on Katie, but I want to just say, Sebastien, what was it like to share that?
Oh, man. I mean, it feels a little strange. I didn't have sexual feelings towards Mr. Goggles, at least not that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't think he had any towards any of us. Hopefully not.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. A lot of nervousness.
Okay.
The dream wasn't so nervous. The dream, it all seemed quite natural.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But it was darker. Those lights did sort of darken as the act carried on.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Katie, do you have anything you want to chime? We got an amusement park here.
Yeah.
We got a dead professor.
Yeah, I mean, Sebastien, wow, thanks for sharing this. There's definitely a lot of energy. So I think this is a great dream to practice sort of bringing in a little bit of play, because it does feel like mixed energy, and I can feel some of the like different tensions of the images. So I'm wondering, Sebastien, what part of the dream feels the most like charged for you?
Well, I guess the moment I had his body, the moment I sort of found his body in the digging.
Yeah. Okay, so are you willing to play a little bit here for a moment with me? Does that feel
Yeah,
too
I'll
nervous?
I'll give it a try.
Yeah,
you
and
tell
anything,
me.
of course, if it feels too much, of course, you just speak up. But I'm thinking like it's something like we could just make up a little song here and just see what happens.
Yeah.
But like something that comes to mind, like, oh, Mr. Goggles, I'm bringing you back to life.
Oh, Mr. Goggles, I'm pleasing and awakening your body.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Goggles, here we are under the lights.
Mr. Goggles.
Yeah, Catherine.
Here we are under the lights, and then I'm pleasuring my body.
No, Mr. Goggles, I'm bringing you back to life, Sebastien.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, talk about bringing back to life. I love that.
What are you noticing in the energy of it as we did that?
Well, I like the idea of Mr. Goggles. It feels a little bouncy, I suppose. You know.
Yeah, I can feel that too. I can definitely right now I'm standing and I'm bouncing as I was singing.
Yeah, that definitely felt bouncy. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I like this feeling, Mr. Goggles. Yeah.
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 Okay. Wow.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of what Mr. Goggles wanted
Yeah.
from me.
Yeah. And I wonder how we could even honor sort of bringing Mr. Goggles back to life in sort of the symbolic sense in your life, or people that, you know, maybe friends of yours that also knew him. Like there was obviously a certain energy to Mr. Goggles that maybe is being resurrected or asked to be resurrected a little bit. But you don't have to know what that is yet. If you just keep staying in the energy, this bouncy energy of bringing Mr. Goggles back to life with this song, what I find is it lightens the energy of the dream, and you'll just get an intuitive knowing if there's something else to do next. Does that make sense? Or
Yeah, just start to consider. I mean, I haven't talked to Zania or Keeves in forever, and I have no idea what gazpacho's all about.
It's kind of a silly soup, though, isn't it? I don't know why for me. It's like it's cold. Like, what?
Yeah, cold soup. Yeah. What about describing, you know, again, in the spirit of being playful here and of bringing this soup to life, what about even just describing yourself as gazpacho?
Okay. I'm gazpacho. I'm cold. I'm hardy. I'm a bit thick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not for everyone.
Ah. Do any of those descriptors feel true of you in your life?
Oh yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess I am a bit of a, not acquired taste, but you know, some people like me and some people really don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I do come off as cold, but I do think I have a lot of hardiness to me underneath all that coldness.
Okay, so bear with me for a moment here as I try to tie this together. I can hear that echo again. I'm not sure if it's distracting for others, but there, it's better. Thank you. So, Mr. Goggles, bringing you back to life. I am cold and an acquired taste, but that's okay, because I'm bringing it back to life. What's happening for you?
Giving you some pace.
Wait, say that again.
I don't know where that was going for me.
Yeah, what did you just say? I didn't catch it.
Sorry, we're having to juggle. Juggle the volumes back and forth because of the echo in Katie's headset. So we might have missed what you said, Sebastien. What are you saying? I want to hear. Want to give it another go?
I'm bringing you back to life, and then I'm acquired taste. And then what did you say, Katie?
I forgot.
Well, what would you say, Sebastien?
Like, take it slow, Mr. Goggles. It's your time. You get to have fun coming out of the ground.
Yeah.
Wow. I just want you to know my laugh, the laugh I have, I'm not laughing like at you or at your dream. I'm not trying to, I think that's one of the things that's important here is when you get into this silly, playful kind of energy, not to minimize somebody's dream or something, because there can be a lot of emotion there, but can you feel the silliness that we're cultivating around this, and what is that like for you? Is that something you're able to get into, or does it feel kind of off-putting to you?
No, it's really relieving because it's such a strange dream. So I really appreciate you guys helping me sing, even though I can't sing at all.
I just heard you. Either. Sounded fine for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's part of the thing here is like, if we can just, dreams are absurd.
Yeah.
They really are. And I think sometimes we get really caught into the like, oh my God, what is this saying about me as a human being that I had this crazy dream, instead of like, how can we be playful with it first and then trust that there will be some deeper wisdom that will come up and out of it?
Yeah, Katie and Sebastien, I want to bring in Doris Snyder, who I believe is also on the line here, just to say hello and bring her into this kind of group space we're creating. Doris, can you hear us?
I can, but
Great.
I don't. I want to hear more. This is like magic going on here.
Isn't it? Quite remarkable.
Hi, Doris.
Sebastien, you're terrific.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank
You are
you.
like, this is so cool.
Yeah. Thanks for just taking a chance, Sebastien, and like sharing this dream and being willing to look at it another way. It's like this is one of the things we get into this kind of dark, serious a view of our dreams sometimes, and bringing in this playfulness is something that I want to learn, which is, I always invite the guest on when I want to learn from them, and I want to learn how to be more playful. And so I love that we've had this chance here to kind of play. Yeah.
Can I ask Sebastien a question?
Good, Sebastien. Yeah, Doris. Is that okay, Sebastien, if Doris asks a question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Do you write poetry? Do you sing? I mean, you did so great.
Oh my goodness. No, I don't. Occasionally I'll do some sketches, but that's about as artistic as I get.
Well, there you go. That's not nothing. That's yeah.
Do you have any lines for the poem, though? Maybe there is something.
Oh, yeah, Doris, what do you think?
Oh, I have to catch up because I loved the process that you all went through and the freedom in that and the magic that came out of it. You just went with it. You trusted it, and it was, like I said, it was magic.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess you guys are making a great space for me to express it.
Well, great. I'm really glad to have you calling in, to be listening, and then to take the chance and call in and share. And that's something about dream sharing, that if we can kind of hold space for each other to be welcoming, then more people will be more comfortable sharing their dreams. And I hope you do keep playing around with this dream, Sebastien, and the little song that we're making up to it.
Yeah, I see a musical here.
Yeah.
Mr. Goggles, the musical?
Mr. Goggles, the musical.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, you're also welcome to drop me an email, Sebastien. I'd love to chat some more with you about this, but anyway, in the case, thanks for listening, and keep on being a dream journalist, keep on dreaming, and we'll talk to you soon. I wanted to see what Doris is up to before we have to close out the show in just a few minutes.
Yeah, thanks, Sebastien.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Bye. Doris, what's up? I just want to say quick hi. This is Doris Snyder, who's been on the show twice now, I believe, and I love that you called in. Let me just hear from you, and then we'll go back to Katie and close out the show.
Yeah. Well, I'll make this quick because I want to go back to Katie, too. I mean, when I saw that she was on the show, it was like, yay, magic.
Yep.
So, hey, Katie, I just wanted to say hi.
Hi, Doris. So nice to hear your voice.
It was awesome. Awesome. So thank you. This was wonderful. So I'm going to hang up and let you two finish up.
All right. Take care, Doris. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Glad you called.
Doris with the cameo.
That's it. I love it. No, fabulous. So, and there's, I guess I'll just say, since we have a couple of callers, that we are going to have a full all-caller show next week, so there'll be plenty of time for call-ins. And Katie, why don't let's talk about how can listeners get in touch with you in case they want to do a little dream play.
Yeah, the best way is just to go to my website, katiemason.com, KATIEMASON.com. Pretty straightforward, and you can reach me there or find me on Facebook or Instagram under Katie Mason Dream. But I think the website's probably the best. You can shoot me an email, and I'm happy to connect with you.
Okay. And what about final thoughts? Do you have, what are your final thoughts you want to leave with the listeners?
Yeah. I just want to encourage everyone to lean into play a little bit more in their life. And it can be really, really simple. Obviously, I'm wearing this jacket right now with sequins. It didn't take that much energy for me to put this jacket on. We can shift our energy really, really simply. And so just invite more of that. And when you're looking at your dreams, take an absurd approach. Make a silly song out of a really heavy dream and see what that does. There's a lot of wisdom in play. So, and I know that I need more of it in our lives, and we sort of need it more as a world. So let's just play more.
Excellent.
Please.
Yes, let's play more. That sounds good to me. All right, take care, Katie. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks so much, Catherine.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
So next week we will, as I've been saying, have a all-caller show, and I'll be reading passages from this book that I'm working on. I'm really excited to share some of that with you. So tune in next week to that at 10 a.m. on Saturday, and you can catch a podcast replay, which as always will be released on the Monday following the show.
Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss.
I am Catherine Bell, and this has been the Dream Journal. Thanks for listening. You can find out more about my dream coaching practice at experientialdreamwork.com, and you can email me at catherine@ksqd.org. If you have a dream you're curious about, please contact me so I can sign you up for that free introductory dream consultation. Thank you to Rick Kleffel for so much, working hard today. As always, sure appreciate you being there. And Tony Rusumana for answering the phones. And all the donors who support this station. We wouldn't be here if you weren't there. So thank you so much. When you wake up tomorrow morning, take a minute to look within. Do you remember a dream? Write it down and bring it to the next Dream Journal. I am Catherine Bell, and you are listening to KSQD Santa Cruz.
I've just closed my eyes again.